Okay, this is the comparison between the FiiO X5 III and the iBasso DX200. First thing that's going to jump out at you, or jumped out at me, like a couple hours ago, because I was really kind of doing a lot of A and Bing between the two of them. Size-wise, they're fairly close. These are not. I thought this was going to be a lot bigger. It actually isn't. Rotate them like this, and you've got the physical control side. You've got button here, you've got the volume adjustment, and then you've got rocker switches for, fast forward, rewind, next, previous. You might be able to set those eventually, or if not now. On the DX, you've got a protected volume rotary dial, and you've got recessed buttons that are recessed and level with the housing that they're sitting in. It looks like the iBasso took more time with their design, or didn't. I don't know how necessary it is, because you can lock the buttons on the FiiO, and you can probably lock the buttons on this, so it's aesthetic, it looks like. Rolled to the bottom. Now, devices recently, this is where all the activity is going on. On the iBasso, you've got the line out, you've got your headphones, and then you've got your balance. Very typical, 1, 2, 3 right next to each other. For the FiiO, you've got a line out, you've got the USB micro B for data transfer and charging, then you've got balance, and then you've got your headphones. So you've basically got all of your stuff going on that used to be on the top of devices, if I recall. Now they're on the bottom. That's that. Turn the device up. Now these are standing up, and you can see the difference in the length is about that much. Roll it to the side, and you've got on the iBasso side, you've essentially got open SD slot, and on the FiiO you've got the power button or sleep, and then you've got 2 recess covered SD slots. On the top of the FiiO you've got nothing, and on the DX200 you've got the Type C USB and also SPDIF, and back of the device glass covered, and on this it's a plastic. Who cares, really. Roll the devices back again. Size wise, these are pretty close. The X5 III is thinner and slightly shorter. Screen size, now this bottom area is the difference between the two. If you were to do it like this, they're really almost identical. If I do screen to screen, that's the height difference. That's the part of the amp module that's on the bottom right there. Let me get that lined up right there. Bam. Different. So I'm a big screen guy, as you know. That's why you see a Note 4 like on a PHA 3 or a IDSD, or right now it's got a Opus number 11, which is pretty awesome. Getting back to these devices, sonically, my preference is for the X5 III, and it's not even close. And now I'm going to start getting into people. Thumbs are going to start to fly. People are going to thumb this stuff down. What do I like? I thought the Mojo was fantastic. I loved it. I got rid of it because I didn't like the community around it. That's part of what you got to deal with when you're talking about your item or you've got issues with it. The company wasn't very supportive. They didn't contact me at all. Relic hooked me up. He deserves being a contributor. The guy, he's saved a lot of stress from Cord, because he's a good member of the community. I didn't like my interaction with the company, which was null, and the volume control of the device was really, because I listen to high volume, became not possible. But on Sonics, despite being a stagehead, I love the Mojo because it's very rich and it's got a lot of ability to pull back an enormous amount of detail within the song. And it's only not here because the volume control system, you know, when you turn it on, it remembers where it was, and that just almost blew my ears out a couple times. So enough about the Mojo, but that's what I prefer sound-wise. I don't like the FiiO X7. I found that to be absolutely plain, not digital, not thin, just it. I didn't sound. It could have been my phone. I couldn't tell the difference between my Note 4 and the X7. I'm not talking about with an amp and DAC. I'm talking about Note 4's default music app and the X7. I couldn't. Sure, the detail was probably better and stuff, but just on the, you know, the first impressions, I couldn't tell the difference. I thought the X7 was a big miss sonic-wise. That's going off the amp that was sent with the initial tour, and that was the IEM amp. But I was listening to IEM, so that I was not feeling that at all. And what's the point of the Mojo and the X7 in this topic? This sounds kind of like the X7. It's not. It doesn't have a lot of anything. The detail is it's there. There's nothing going on. It's not. It's so not impressive that I'm concerned that this is related to filter settings or something, and maybe somebody's going to say, "Hey, why don't you do this?" I'm very surprised that this. I thought this was going to have like a wide stage, and this was going to be. So yeah, I had preconceptions before I came into this about what I was going to get. I thought this is going to be wider stage because people said that. I thought that this was going to be compact because my image of FiiO is usually that. The X7 wasn't like that, but all of their amps, the E18, the E12, they all seem to be compact relative to, say, a KNC5 amp-wise. The KNC5 is like very spatial, which is weird, and the E12 is not. So FiiO gives me the impression of not being able to, you know, present big stages. And I'm listening with EX1000s in balance mode. These are one of the bigger stages. You can get the 16mm tuned audiophile. I use them because I EQ bass. Both of these devices, when listening, this was Mango with no EQ. I turned it off, and this is the FiiO player with no EQ. So I'm not listening to EQ just because I want to get kind of a bass line. And listening to Pink Floyd on the run, which you guys hear me talk about all the time, this sounded a little bit weird at first, and then I thought, could I have the left and right of my balanced wrong? I'd never really thought of that, and I switched them, and yeah, it changed the sound. Just to protect my mind, I switched and shut the device down, and then rebooted it up, and then listened again, and everything was where it was supposed to be. The woman's voice was coming from the left side and going right. The ships that move left to right and how far they go. For example, the Mojo would go like this far. The little rocket ship that's traveling around in the Pink Floyd song would do like this. The IDSD would be much wider. I said that in the Mojo review, which was 5 stars, and I liked it a lot. The FiiO amp stuff would be almost claustrophobic. So going into this, I thought this is going to be kind of compact, but maybe it's going to be feature rich because it's got the AK4490 DACs, which is the same as the Aston and Kern 380. It's something people are not talking about. This has basically got the same engine as the A&K 380. Is that worth its price? Oh, hell no. And this has got dual sabers, the new flagship 9028s, I believe. Don't hold me to anything I'm saying because I'm not looking at spec sheets. I'm not looking at an iPad and double checking my stuff. I'm giving you guys right off this is fresh off the plate. So imagine my surprise when in balance mode with the EX1000, I'm A-Bing between this and this, listening to Pink Floyd, and this not only sounds kind of flat sonically, like the X7. This is related to the X7 via being from the same company, but this sounds more like it, and this sounds kind of like a Mojo. It's rich in detail, and on something that really presents stage. I mean, really, this is Abbey Road Studio with Pink Floyd going wild, and they really did a lot of left-right panning, and intentionally very far to the left and to the right, and then flipping. Sounded stunning on this. Sounded absolutely amazing. Sounded better than my Opus. And that's stupid, because this thing's like $480 or something in Japan. This device is twice the price, and it didn't sound as good with that. So flip and go. Let's go to a rock and roll song with lots of guitars and some distortion. So Aerosmith, Sweet Emotion. Switch to that. Got worse for this device. Flat, no sparkle in the treble, no punch in the bass, no nothing. It sounded good. I'm being nice now. This sounded really good. Switch to America Tin Man, trying to listen for the cymbal strike. Sounded better on this than it did on this. And this is a Sabre dual DAC, and this is an AK dual DAC. I was imagining that this is going to be strong in the treble, and it was going to have a wide stage, and these are initial impressions, and people are going to come in and say, hey dude, why don't you learn how to do fucking reviews, and hey blah blah blah. Listen, fuck you, number one. Number two, I got this device because I know people. I didn't get this from the company. I got this device because I bought it, and I know people. I got this device without the support, the help, or any connection to either company. I owe them nothing. I owe them nothing. This is my credibility that I'm putting up here. I don't believe that I don't think I'm going to be wrong in a year's time when people look back. Everything I said about the Mojo when I did my review, which is one of the first ones that was put up, it's been backed up to this day. The stuff that I talked about, that it was mid-centric, that it was super rich in detail retrieval, that it wasn't really wide in stage. It's the same stuff that's panned out in all the reviews that's come out later. So I'm telling you right now, on February 15th, Japan time, that this is very impressive. This has got great detail. It's got a nice musical sound that's similar to the Mojo. The stage is good. This has has a fantastic UI and a great build, and sonically it sounds like the X7 to me when it had the IEM amp on it, which is to say that it doesn't, there's no emphasis anywhere. And I guess if you're an audiophile, that's the goal, right? So, but somebody saying that this is better than the Mojo, or come on, man, come on, you kidding me, right? What? I remember when the Mojo a year ago, everybody's saying that this was a new level, and I believe still that it was. I bought an album, and I don't have a record player in Japan, but I bought it because I wanted to get it. Pink Floyd got a great one with the special etch and the dead wax, and that's what the Mojo motivated me to do, because it was a fantastic item. And I've been kind of hunting for something like that to put on the back of my Note 4 ever since I got rid of it. And the PHA-3 is a big tank, but I love it. I like this. I don't want to get rid of it, and I honestly thought that I was going to keep this for 4 weeks, do some comparisons, and then fly it out the door and get basically what I paid for it. And now I'm rethinking that, because this is very, very nice. And unless things change, which they could, but I doubt it, because they never do with me, or somebody's telling me that confirm settings with this device, I would wreck this. If these were the same exact price, I would wreck this. And again, my connection to this company is zero, and my chance of getting something ever, before, now, future, zero. My connection to this company, zero. My interest in making any of these guys feel happy or comfortable or anything besides telling you guys exactly what I think is zero. I pick this device. If these are the same exact price, I pick this device. And I just ranted and raved about the UI about this device 12 hours ago. But they got work to do when it comes to tweaking the sound. The sonics are not there right now. This has nailed it. And my preference is for a Mojo type sound and not an X7 sound, and that's how I see these two devices. This is my opinion. This is not science. Nobody is licensed to tell you anything. All of the big sites that are going to do the reviews in the next month with their pretty pictures and stuff hanging on seashells, and they got connections. They say things with things in mind. You trust them if you choose to. There is a gravy train, and it has to keep going. And if they hammer something, I think that puts them at risk. So I personally don't put much stock into what companies say. I do put a lot of stock into what owners say. So if someone comes in and flames on something, I don't know that's the best way to do it, but I listen to them because they paid for the device. I wreck this one. I don't wreck this one. I'm going to do a review just for this, and I'm going to do a review just for this.